Downstairs, there are protesters chanting prayers to drive me out into the wilderness. The attention that it brings is an impediment for my plan. Fortunately, the public is easily distracted, which makes the solution for my problem quite simple. The city needs a new villain. I think I might have found him.
Hey everyone, Chastity and Greg here with our spoiler-filled review of Daredevil Season 3. We're going to tell you what we thought, plus dig into some Easter eggs and comic references that you might have missed.
Now, of course, there are so many spoilers ahead, so if you haven't finished this season yet, get out of here, finish it, and come on back.
It's good.
Really good. And be sure to subscribe to GameSpot Universe so you don't miss any of our other comic book coverage, and you can check out our video on the history of Kingpin right now.
Okay, Greg, Season 3, what did you think?
I loved it. It's a bit slow. When I mean a bit slow, only the first few episodes, it's a little slow, but then the second Fisk gets out of prison, everything picks up, and every episode, in my honest opinion, was better than the last episode. It is that good. It's very focused. So every time you think the story's just gonna detour off just to, stretch time out, as much as they can, like in old seasons of any other show, even Iron Fist did it a few times, but it actually builds in the plot with incredible side storylines with supporting characters like Karen and Bullseye. It was really fleshed out. I thought it was incredible.
I agree. I loved it. I thought it was well written, well paced. Like you said, very good development for all the characters, not just the main ones, but also the side characters. And I think it's a cliche, but I think it was a return to form for what made season 1 so good. And the main reason being Wilson Fisk. It just goes to show what a difference it makes to have a villain that's an actual threat, that you can feel threatening not just our heroes, but society. We saw some villains in previous Netflix shows that just didn't seem like they were a threat at all.
Forgettable.
Yeah, they were completely forgettable, and we're like, yeah, they can beat them. This is gonna be fine. It's gonna be totally fine. It's bad right now. They're gonna take care of it. But I really was in there with Matt. Like, he was like, I'm f***ed. We're like, yeah, you're f***ed.
Did. For a second there, I thought, oh man, are they gonna kill him all? You really feel like the pressure's building on him.
Intimately involved in his affairs.
His business affairs?
Of course. Tell me, so at what point did you learn about Mr. Murdoch's secret life?
All right, let's talk about what worked. So number 1, like I just said,
Fisk.
Wilson Fisk. Wilson Fisk made this season work.
Man, oh man, the second Daredevil gets his hearing back or whatever was going on there.
After the neti pot?
After the neti pot, what does he hear? Kingpin's out, Fisk is out, he's freed. And like right there, the story kicks off and I'm in.
Vincent D'Onofrio is incredible. He did such a great performance. He's always so good.
He's great in everything he does.
Give me sugar.
Kingpin is a believably threatening mastermind with terrifying power and influence. That's what made him so good. And don't at me, but Kingpin is top tier Marvel villain material, I swear. And he's the best in Netflix Marvel, by far.
Oh, what about Purple Man?
Yeah, he's up there, 1 and 2.
All right.
Kingpin has more influence over society in general.
And
like his influence just spreads out. With the Purple Man, it's like whoever's immediately around him. But like Kingpin will mess you up
from
anywhere in the city, from anywhere in the world, anywhere.
This whole season, I thought anyone could die.
Yeah.
Except for Murdoch, obviously. I thought anyone could go in any moment right now with Kingpin. It's really good, guys. Watch it.
Julie, you're very special to me.
Let go of me, Dose.
Please.
I said, let go.
And like we said before, the supporting characters get a lot of development this season, and that also made it work. So let's talk about a few of them.
Okay, well, let's start off with Dex. Come on, Bullseye.
Yeah.
Well done. I love the nods they play to the comics and that character. It's not the exact origin story at all. Like the backstory we got with Fisk reading his files, just the black and white shots inside of Fisk's mansion. Yeah, played out. I loved it. And then the whole storyline with his stalker girlfriend thing going on. I mean, it's creepy and it had a great payoff at the end. Well done.
Yeah. And I like that he didn't just go from 0 to 60 to being a bad guy. Like, it's like,
baby steps.
Baby steps, clearly, because, he's an agent for the FBI, but we see him actively trying to fight these urges. He's listening to the tapes, he's trying to be good, he's trying to make the right decision, he's trying to reach out to Julie.
But the Kingpin's there.
Yeah, the Kingpin his influence is too strong.
The hand, but not the hand.
Not the hand. The hand sucks.
I messed up. I destroyed my life. My family's life.
Okay, let's talk about Agent Nadeem. So he's kind of by the numbers at the beginning, but by the end, I actually liked his redemption story, and I liked the whole thing at the end with the video that leaked to everyone in the public.
There's a few moments with him, especially in the scene where he confesses everything to his boss, and right at that point you're thinking, okay, where is this going? And then the Kingpin's influence is so strong, and it hits the mark really well. His whole storyline only propelled Kingpin's and not his own. That's the only issue there with that. Yeah. I loved it, but it kind of hurt Nadeem's storyline. I don't know, what do you guys think of Nadeem's character? Did you like it or not? Let us know in the comment section down below.
I don't want you here, Karen.
Okay, let's talk about Karen for a second.
I love Karen.
Okay, all right. I really like the character development we got with her. It came out of nowhere right when she has the phone call with her dad. At this point, I'm thinking, are they gonna kill her off?
And he doesn't want to see her, and you're like, what's that about?
Yeah, you're like, okay, they're just gonna throw that.
Yeah.
That's it, that's the only line, one and done. And then the very next episode, oh no, we get a full-on backstory history of what happened between her and her dad and her brother. It's dark, it's depressing, but it really hits home for that line where he tells her, you know, stay, I don't want you there right now. It's really well done.
That was tough to watch. But yeah, we saw her grow as a character, and we see her by the end possibly think about becoming a really good investigator.
Oh, they make a little joke about Jessica Jones.
At Jessica
there.
Jones' expense.
Yep.
I'm not a lawyer.
You're one hell of an investigator, though.
Yeah, and way more stable than Jessica Jones.
All right, let's talk about the action this season because it was incredible. I feel like they really stepped it up. We'll talk a little bit later about how they did that one-shot scene that was incredible with Matt breaking out of the prison. But first, can we talk about the Daredevil versus Bullseye scenes because they were incredible. Let's roll a montage here. We got office fights, we got wedding fights, we got fights in churches. Anything and everything is a weapon. Staplers, forks, church pews, over your head, you name it. Everything. Incredible.
It was
incredible.
It was insane. It was pure anarchy. Every fight scene with Bullseye, I'm thinking, just hide because it doesn't matter what he has in his hands.
Yeah.
I loved it. He's just flinging things everywhere. Spot on.
Yeah, and you can tell that the key is close quarters combat for Matt. That's you have to get in close because you will just get hit by shit. And he'll get shot. It'll ricochet. It'll hit you.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You got to get in close.
I can't wait for the rematch, but Daredevil's going to need a costume this time around. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Yeah, he's going to need something.
All right, let's jump into some Easter eggs and references. So going into season 3, we were told by the showrunners that we'd be getting a little bit of Born Again from Frank Miller, some Guardian Devil here and there. So let's jump in.
Right off the bat, Fisk becomes Kingpin. In episode 3, Fisk throws on his iconic comic book accurate white suit. And in episode 9, Dex reveals that Fisk has adopted the Kingpin moniker as his new code name for the FBI and the mob.
We only refer to him by his code name.
What code name?
Kingpin.
Next up, the one-shot returns. Every season of Daredevil has a badass hallway one-shot. Season 3 takes it to the next level with an insane 11-minute prison corridor melee in episode 4.
Yeah, this one-shot was incredible. I think it was like 11 and a half minutes long. I don't know how they pulled this off, but it was really good. They did a lot of quick switches in the dark where they switched out Charlie Cox and his double, and it's just seamless. And going from room to room, and then he has like a dramatic moment, and he's talking to the Albanians, and then he goes back out and there's more action.
Great camera movement too to get this to work out. At the same time, you know it's coming. I knew, okay, here we go, here's the one shot, this is it. And then you're thinking, are they just gonna overdo it? No, it was flat out amazing. Great job.
Season 3 is filled with great nods to the Daredevil comics. In episode 5, when Matt hops in the back of a taxi to get away from the prison fight, he realizes the driver isn't the same man who brought him to the prison in the first place. It's actually one of Kingpin's goons who quickly jumps out of the moving vehicle as it crashes into the East River with Matt still in the back. This is pulled directly from the Born Again storyline in the comics.
Speaking of Born Again, we're introduced to Sister Maggie, who in the comics nurses Matt back to health after he escapes from the underwater taxi. Both storylines reveal that Maggie is in fact Matt's mother, who, having not been in Matt's life for decades, has become a nun at a local church.
Our son is too much like you, Jack.
In Bullseye Greatest Hits #2, Bullseye had a baseball career, but after 3 games as a pro, he got bored as it was no challenge for him to pitch a no-hitter, and he hits and kills the batter during his last pitch of the game.
In the comics, Foggy does run for district attorney and is elected in Daredevil Volume 1, number 48.
If you notice in Karen's office, there's a new article on the wall that has the headline Blackout Cripples New York, which is a reference to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, when a group known as the Watchdogs wiped out the power during an attack on New York City.
Bullseye actually does impersonate Daredevil in the comics, as seen in Daredevil Volume 1, number 285, The Shadow Man. In that issue, Bullseye takes to the streets as Daredevil while Matt struggles to figure out who he is. Fun fact in the comics, the person who commissioned Potter to make the duplicate costume was Felix Manning, much like we see in the show.
In one of the darkest moments of the entire season, Bullseye kills Father Lantom right before his throwdown with Daredevil in episode 10. Now this is a spin on the Guardian Devil storyline where it's actually Karen who's killed by Bullseye in the church, and the scene where she cradles Matt in her arms after the fight is actually a reversal of what happens in the comics.
Now Julie Barnes isn't a comic book character, but an interesting choice of the last name of Dex's ill-fated obsession. While she's probably not related to Bucky Barnes, they are both from New York.
And in episode 12, if you look at Fogwell's gym, there's a poster for Parker vs. Morales, which is obviously a reference to Spider-Man.
The season ends with Dex in a spinal surgery after Fisk broke his back. And we see a very heavy-handed and literal bullseye over his eye, in case you didn't get it. In Daredevil 181, Bullseye breaks his back upon falling from a building during a fight with Daredevil.
During the surgery, they mention using cogmium steel on Bullseye. In the comics, his bones are reinforced with adamantium. And since we can't say the A word yet, as that's part of X-Men lore and Disney doesn't have the rights just yet, it's changed to cogmium. Cogmium is a deep Marvel cut from Marvel Comics Presents number 137. It was invented by Oracle Inc. It's a moldable metal that has shape memory, but is not indestructible like adamantium.
And the doctor working on him is Dr. Oyama, a reference to the Marvel character Kenji Oyama, aka Dark Wind. He's got an obsession with creating super soldiers, and his research was used for the Weapon X project. In the comics, Dark Wind's doctors treat Bullseye.
Let's talk about the future. So we don't know if we're getting another season of Daredevil, but we also just learned that Iron Fist and Luke Cage were both canceled. So what does this mean for the future of Daredevil?
R.I.P. Luke, Iron Fist. We knew it was coming for Iron Fist, possibly, but Luke was throwing me out of nowhere. Yeah, so I have no idea whether or not there's actually going to be a proper Daredevil season 4.
Can we get a Defenders season 2?
Might be something like that.
Can we get a do-over for Defenders? Can we retcon Defenders?
Yes, if they do Defenders, it makes sense to have the Punisher in this one though, and it looks like it's all going to come to a head-on collision with Kingpin. This is what they're setting up. This is what I thought they were trying to set up in Luke Cage. A meeting with Kingpin. He's trying to take over the crime lords again, and now with Vanessa in the picture, it looks like they're going down that route. But with the news, again, with Luke Cage and Iron Fist,
everything is canceled. Goodbye. Thanks for all the shows.
At the same time, you can look at this season for Daredevil and say, I know they're teasing the other seasons, but it felt very complete to me.
Yeah.
It felt like a great tribute to the comics, and I felt like I was satisfied for what they did for season 3. If they don't continue on with another season, I'm fine with that. Yeah. I love this season.
I would like to see more, but if this is where it ends, it's a good way to end. I'm glad they didn't end on something
a huge
worse.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
No, they wrapped it up very well. He kicks Kingpin's ass. He should have killed him, but he kicks his ass, puts him back in prison. Fine with that. Great. Now have Kingpin go fight Peter Parker for some reason. That's never going to happen. We'll see.
Please give me a moment to say goodbye to my wife.
Did you get one to Raina Dean?
Please.
Right. If it did come back for another season, I would love to see Typhoid Mary join the mix, like she did in the comics.
I would think this is what they're trying to set up, that she's going to come into play somehow with Matt Murdock, since she's such a big part of his life in the comics. It's got to happen. Maybe another meetup with Punisher. Again, I bring this up in a way that I feel like this is leading towards Defenders if they should do another season. The main villain should be Kingpin. Come on, you can't screw this up. Honestly, it's Defenders season 2. The villain is Kingpin. Boom. End.
Disney streaming service?
Who are you? I'm Daredevil.
The next thing they got to do I understand why they didn't do it this season because it works so well for the character, but put Daredevil back in his red suit. Give me that carmine red suit. I want it. I want the full comic suit too, not this super soldier look.
Yeah.
Give him something else.
More red.
More red, just all red. I
Yes.
just want it all carmine red. Give me that for the next season. I don't know how they're gonna put that in there, but he's gonna need a suit if he's going up against Bullseye at least a few times.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. And finally, the last thing is the Murdoch Papers. I've been hearing this a lot lately, that they may go this route for a fourth season or whatever they do. That involves Murdoch's real-life identity as Daredevil comes out to the press.
As it does.
Yes, like every comic book
With every
character
comic
has a moment
character,
like this, yeah. He ends up going to prison, though. And so if they go that route where he's in prison for most of the season, if not the entirety of the fourth season, then there has to be one episode where it's entirely one shot. They can do it.
I mean,
Mr. Robot did it.
They did 11 and a half minutes and it was an action scene. They can do
A full episode.
a full episode where it's not as much action.
They got to do it.
They can do it.
If
Any
it's
of
leading
these
that
shows
way.
can, it's Daredevil.
Yeah, I'm just saying if they do a fourth season, it looks like it's leading that way where they can do a full-on one-shot episode. We'll see.
Those poor crew.
Oh no, they're gonna love it. I hope.
So what do you think the future holds for Daredevil, and what do you think of season 3? Let us know in the comments below or hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Chastity_V.
I'm at GregFT155.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.